When Jessica Mulroney's marriage officially fell apart, it wasn't just another celebrity breakup. For those familiar with how deeply her story was once tied to Meghan Markle's, the news landed like a warning shot. These two women were inseparable. Jessica wasn't just a bridesmaid in Meghan's fairy tale. Her daughter walked down the aisle beside Princess Charlotte. Her husband, Ben, came from an elite Canadian family with ties to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Meghan essentially used Jessica as a springboard into royal circles. So when Jessica's seemingly perfect marriage shattered after 16 years, destroyed by scandal, public backlash, and Meghan's silence, it wasn't just tabloid fodder. It felt like a shattered mirror. Because in truth, the cracks in Harry and Meghan's own relationship are becoming harder to ignore. Here's the twist. The first person to report Jessica's split wasn't some anti-Meghan tabloid figure. It was Sarah Nathan, editor-at-large at the New York Post, someone typically seen as friendly to Meghan. When even her supporters start casually revealing divorce news about Meghan's ex-best friend, the narrative is clearly shifting. And Meghan is watching. Now let's talk about how deep this friendship really went. Jessica was the closest person in Meghan's life when Harry entered the picture. She was Meghan's reflection in many ways: Canadian, glamorous, privileged, and fully connected to high society. When Meghan needed help with her royal image early on, Jessica was by her side. When Harry made secret visits to Meghan in Toronto, Jessica kept things under wraps. This wasn't a casual friendship. It was foundational. So, when Jessica got caught in a racism scandal during the peak of the Black Lives Matter movement, you'd think Meghan, who has always spoken out about race and inclusion, would have at least reached out, especially since Jessica's public apology mentioned Meghan directly, calling their friendship an educational experience. But Meghan didn't reach out. She said nothing. She disappeared. Jessica, meanwhile, was dropped by Meghan, by her job, and by society. Her show was cancelled. Her styling gigs dried up. She became so toxic in Toronto that even her in-laws reportedly staged an intervention. This wasn't just bad PR. Her identity collapsed. And through it all, Meghan never looked back. Now here's where it gets truly unsettling. People close to Jessica say she spiraled into a deep depression, antidepressants, suicidal thoughts, and still nothing from Meghan. This isn't just about one heated online exchange. It's about how quickly Meghan shut off the loyalty switch to protect her own image. She didn't help her friend. She didn't even try. She vanished. And that pattern? It's starting to show up again, with Harry. Reports suggest their marriage is on life support. Netflix is gone, Spotify's dead, and their Hollywood buzz is fading. Now that Meghan is facing a future without royal protection or lucrative media deals, people are asking, will she do to Harry what she did to Jessica? Meghan has always been focused on her brand, and if she could cut off Jessica Mulroney, someone like family, just to dodge bad press, what happens when Harry becomes a liability? Let's be honest, he already kind of is. The fairy tale has become a PR nightmare. And if Meghan has proven anything, it's that she knows exactly when to walk away. Jessica's downfall wasn't just personal. It became a case study in how quickly public favor disappears when the wrong person decides you're no longer useful. Once celebrated as a Canadian fashion icon, Jessica became radioactive overnight. It started with a single social media spat. Influencer Sasha Exeter posted a general message encouraging people with large platforms to speak up for Black Lives Matter. Jessica took it personally and sent Sasha a string of private messages that Sasha later described as threatening. That's when everything imploded. Suddenly, Jessica's world was in flames. Her show I Do Redo got axed. She lost her Good Morning America slot. Charities distanced themselves. Toronto's elite began whispering. And Meghan? Not a word. No defense, no comfort, just silence. It was obvious. Jessica had been sacrificed to protect a bigger brand. Even worse, Jessica tried to take accountability. She issued a public apology, acknowledged her privilege, and credited Meghan for helping her grow. She called the experience educational and promised to do better. But it wasn't enough, because once Meghan cut her off, no one else dared step in. Here's the part that really stings. Jessica wasn't just Meghan's stylist, she was Meghan's vault. She kept Meghan's secrets during the early stages of her relationship with Harry. She hosted them, covered for them, and helped shape Meghan's image as a modern, polished royal. Her children literally participated in the royal wedding. That level of loyalty is rare. And yet, the moment Jessica became a risk to Meghan's image, she was erased. Now imagine watching all of this as Harry. Harry gave up his country, his title, and his identity for Meghan. He cut off his own family and sat through interviews where his name and his family's name was dragged through the mud. He watched the world split into Team Sussex and Team Royal. Now, stuck in Montecito, he sees deals falling apart, public sympathy fading, and the marriage under serious strain. If Jessica, who never endured half of what Harry did, was so easily discarded, how safe can Harry feel? Especially now, with rumors of a post-divorce memoir and TV series about Meghan's life after the royal marriage. She's reportedly already working on projects that frame her as a self-made woman, a survivor who rose, fell, and rose again. And if that story needs Harry to be the clueless ex who couldn't keep up, so be it. Meanwhile, Harry is reportedly extending olive branches to the royal family, subtly adjusting his schedule so he doesn't clash with royal events. But insiders aren't buying it. To them, it reeks of desperation, not reconciliation. Netflix is gone. Spotify's over. Hollywood is moving on. The Sussex brand has peaked. And Meghan, always 10 steps ahead, may already be preparing for her next reinvention. The pattern is impossible to ignore. Meghan aligns herself with people who boost her image, but the moment controversy hits, she disappears. Jessica was the first casualty. Now the question is, who's next? And all eyes are on Harry. Royal watchers are beginning to notice the quiet tension in Montecito. Behind the carefully crafted photos and occasional public appearances, whispers say the marriage is under strain. Harry looks less like the rebellious prince who broke free, and more like someone orbiting Meghan's world. The glamour of freedom has faded. The massive media deals have collapsed. They're left with a public image and very little real influence. The parallels between Jessica and Harry are striking. Both were surrounded by wealth, ambition, and a focus on appearances. Both thought they were living fairy tales, until they learned fairy tales expire when image becomes currency. Jessica paid with her career, her status, and her marriage. Harry's price could be far worse, because his entire identity is now tied to a woman who knows how to step over anyone who becomes inconvenient. Observers close to the royal family have long said Meghan operates with strategy. Every relationship, Hollywood or royal, has served a purpose. When that purpose ends, so does the relationship. Friends who once basked in her spotlight often find themselves ghosted when the spotlight moves. This cold efficiency may serve her brand, but in a marriage built on rebellion and shared struggle, there's little space for unconditional loyalty. Meanwhile, the British media is in a strange dance. Outlets that once attacked the Sussexes now publish opinion pieces urging King Charles and Prince William to forgive and welcome Harry back. They portray him as a prodigal son, even after he accused his family of racism and betrayal. Critics say this shift isn't about healing, it's about control. A way to bring Harry back into the fold, or at least soften the image of a fractured monarchy. The irony is painful. Harry's royal relatives seem more willing to forgive than Meghan does toward those who once helped her. Even as headlines swirl about royal vacations and the private lives of William and Kate, the real drama simmers quietly in California. Harry's efforts to reconnect with his family, coordinating schedules, appearing at events, feel less like reconciliation and more like survival. Without his royal connection or Hollywood status, the power of his name is slipping away. along with the leverage that held his marriage together. Insiders say Meghan is already looking ahead. Her next chapter may position her as the strong solo figure who survived scandal and came out stronger. A memoir or documentary could turn her personal pain into profit. And if Harry ends up cast as the emotionally overwhelmed ex-prince, that script practically writes itself. What we're left with is two collapsing fairy tales. Jessica and Ben's Canadian high society dream, and Harry and Meghan's royal escape fantasy. Now they're cautionary tales. The friendships are gone, the bridges are burned, and the headlines are brutal. Harry now stands at a crossroads, surrounded by the echoes of choices made in pursuit of freedom, love, and reinvention. In the end, the question hanging in the California air is simple. When Meghan's next chapter begins, will Harry still be a part of it? Or just another name she left behind?